You may be surprised by what I'm about to say, but your isolation is no accident. Yes, you heard me right. Your isolation has a purpose, and it's important to be careful during this period. God isolates us for different reasons. This time apart is not a punishment, but an opportunity for growth and reflection. It is fundamental to our spiritual journey and allows us to deepen our relationship with God. When we are isolated, we can focus more on our spiritual growth without the distractions of everyday life. It's a time to listen carefully to God's voice and understand His plans for us. During the retreat, we can work on perfecting our character. It's a time of self-knowledge in which we identify our weaknesses and work on them. God uses this time to prepare us for a greater purpose, to make us better people who can carry out His plans more effectively. In these breaks, we can develop qualities such as patience, humility, and resilience. Isolation also helps us build a stronger foundation of faith. Without the noise and bustle of everyday life, we can devote more time to prayer and meditation, which strengthens our bond with God and gives us clarity about His will. Our faith grows stronger as we rely more on God for strength and guidance. Isolation provides a unique opportunity to reassess our priorities. It's a time to reflect on what's really important in our lives and make the necessary adjustments. We can evaluate our goals, habits, and relationships to ensure that they are aligned with our spiritual values. This moment of reflection can lead to significant personal growth and a more focused and purposeful life. When isolation comes, we shouldn't treat it like any other challenge. There are critical mistakes that should be avoided during this period. In times of solitude, it's important to avoid negative distractions. These distractions can divert our attention from what really matters and hinder our spiritual growth. Instead of filling the void with harmful habits such as overeating or laziness, we should focus on activities that feed our soul and strengthen our connection with God. Gluttony, which is an excess of food or drink, can not only cause physical and mental damage, but can also distract us from our spiritual goals and weaken our personal discipline. Similarly, laziness or idleness can prevent us from using our time productively and fulfilling our responsibilities. These behaviors can create barriers between us and God, preventing us from fully experiencing His presence. Instead of giving in to negative distractions, we should dedicate ourselves to activities that promote spiritual growth. The practice of mindfulness, which involves being present in the moment and aware of our thoughts and feelings, can help us connect more deeply with God. In addition, setting aside time for prayer and meditation can nourish our soul and provide clarity and guidance during periods of isolation. It's important not to become closed off and stagnant during periods of isolation. Staying at home for long periods of time can lead to feelings of loneliness and isolation. To combat these feelings and maintain a sense of well-being, it's important to stay active and involved with the world around us. One way to avoid isolation is to take part in outdoor activities. Spending time in nature, whether on a hike in the mountains, at the beach, or simply on a quiet stroll in the park, can lift our spirits and make us feel connected to the world. The beauty of nature can remind us of God's presence and inspire feelings of awe and gratitude. Practicing hobbies and interests can also help prevent isolation. Whether it's gardening, painting, music, or any other form of creative expression, these activities can give us a sense of purpose and fulfillment. They allow us to express who we are and explore our passions, helping to combat boredom and loneliness. On life's journey, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others. However, during periods of isolation, it is crucial to resist this temptation. Each person has a unique journey, shaped by their own experiences, circumstances, and relationship with God. Comparison with others can generate feelings of inadequacy, envy, and discouragement that undermine our self-esteem and sense of purpose. Instead of worrying about comparing our lives with others, we should trust in God's plan for us. God has a unique purpose and path for each of us, tailored to our individual strengths, weaknesses, and desires. By trusting in His wisdom and guidance, we can find peace and satisfaction in our own journey, regardless of how it compares to that of others. Comparison with others distracts us from our own growth and development. Instead of trying to be like someone else, we should focus on becoming the best version of ourselves. This means accepting our qualities, recognizing our weaknesses, and constantly striving to improve and grow. God has given us unique gifts and talents, and it is our responsibility to cultivate and use them for His glory. However, when we compare ourselves to others, we lose the joy and gratitude we should feel for the blessings in our own lives. By constantly focusing on what others have or are achieving, we fail to appreciate the blessings and opportunities that God has given us. By turning our focus inward and cultivating gratitude for our own journey, we can find satisfaction and fulfillment even in times of isolation. In times of isolation, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and lose faith. Challenges and uncertainties can shake our faith and leave us spiritually lost. However, it is important to keep our faith even in the face of adversity. Faith is a source of strength and comfort in difficult times, giving us hope and the certainty that we are not alone. We know that God is with us every step of the way, even when we can't see clearly into the future. Faith reminds us that God's love and guidance are constant. Furthermore, losing faith only serves to deepen our sense of isolation. When we begin to doubt God's presence and goodness, we distance ourselves from the source of our strength and peace. Instead of finding solace in prayer and meditation, we can turn inward, consumed by fear and despair. Instead of allowing doubt to take hold of us, we must actively nurture our faith during periods of isolation. This means seeking God's presence in prayer, seeking His guidance and comfort when we need it most. It means immersing ourselves in the Scriptures, finding strength and wisdom in the sacred teachings. And it means connecting with a community of believers who can support and strengthen us on our spiritual journey. When facing our isolation, it's natural to feel impatient and anxious for the situation to change. However, rushing the process can hinder our spiritual growth. It's important to remember that God's timing is perfect and that there is a purpose behind our isolation. Impatience can lead to frustration and dissatisfaction. When we try to force things to happen at our own pace, we run the risk of missing valuable lessons and opportunities for growth. Instead of appreciating the present moment, we become obsessed with the future, longing for a time when things will be different. Furthermore, rushing the process can prevent us from fully experiencing God's presence and guidance. By focusing only on the next step, we run the risk of ignoring the blessings and insights that God is offering us in the present. Only by slowing down and listening can we discern His voice and understand His will for our lives. Impatience can also damage our relationship with God. When we demand immediate answers to our prayers, we stop trusting in God's wisdom and sovereignty. We can feel disappointed when things don't turn out the way we expected, which leads to doubt and frustration. Instead of rushing the process, we should use our journey of isolation as an opportunity for growth and reflection. We must trust in God's plan and timing, knowing that He is working all things out for our good. Patience is a virtue that teaches us to surrender and align our will with God's. Silence is a powerful tool to strengthen us. Silence is a powerful tool for strengthening our spiritual connection. It provides a refuge from the noise and distractions of the world, creating space for introspection, prayer, and communion with God. In silence, we can calm the agitation of our minds and hear God's voice more clearly. Without external stimuli, we can discern His guidance more clearly and hear His gentle whisper. In moments of silence, we can receive profound insights and revelations about our life and purpose. In addition, silence promotes a sense of inner peace and tranquility. It provides a refuge from the stress and anxiety of everyday life, allowing us to rest and recharge our spirit. In silence, we can find solace and comfort, knowing that God is with us and loves us unconditionally. Silence also encourages reflection and self-examination. It gives us the opportunity to examine our thoughts, feelings, and actions, and to identify areas in which we need to grow or change. Through introspection, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship with God, leading to greater spiritual maturity. Although isolation can make us feel disconnected, it's important not to further isolate ourselves from others. Human connection is essential to our well-being, especially in difficult times. Even when we are physically separated, we should strive to maintain meaningful relationships and stay connected to a supportive community. Isolation can increase feelings of loneliness and alienation, making it tempting to withdraw. But keeping in touch with friends, family, and loved ones is essential for our emotional and mental health. Whether by phone, video call, or message, contact can provide comfort, companionship, and a sense of belonging. During periods of isolation, it is important to practice patience and trust in God's timing. Although it is challenging, we must remain firm in our faith, knowing that God sees and understands our circumstances. Patience is a virtue that allows us to face difficulties with grace and resilience. Instead of being frustrated by the length of our isolation, we must trust that God has a purpose for this time in our lives. By waiting patiently and trusting in His plan, we can cultivate a spirit of contentment and peace, knowing that everything is unfolding according to His divine will. Trust is the foundation of our relationship with God. Even when we can't see the path ahead clearly, we can trust that He will guide us with wisdom and love. He knows the plans He has for us, plans to prosper and not to harm, plans to give us hope and a future. By putting our trust in Him, we can let go of control and find comfort in His constant presence. If you're still watching, thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and would like to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.